Hello again, everybody. This is the Catholic Esquire. So, what I wanted to talk today about was what I call the lukewarm, fence sitting conservative Catholics. What I'm talking about is that I've recently came across articles in both social media and mainstream Catholic media that are criticizing traditionalists, laity, and priests for, sticking up for the faith, speaking the truth. Well, what's happening is that these conservative Catholics, they're trying to play things both ways. Here's what I mean. A recent example is Father Altman. Father Altman, as we all know, and we talked about it in my interview with Father Nix the other day. Father Altman is a canceled priest. He had his ministry as a parish priest taken away from him. He no longer has a parish to serve at. He's still a valid priest. He just doesn't have a ministry left. It was taken away from him. Why? Because he stood up for the faith. He spoke the truth. But he spoke a truth that is very unpopular in modern culture today, that can get you in trouble. And bishops don't like that. Now, we know what the bishops are like. We've been dealing with it for years now. That's nothing new. What I want to talk about was some of these conservative journalists in Catholic media and social media. Now, the other day at the Canceled Priest Conference, Father Altman made the comment that he thought, given all the heresies, the blasphemies, the insults to our Lord Jesus Christ coming out of the Vatican, false idol worship, demonic worship, really, he suggested that Francis was an anti-pope. He, okay, I mean, obviously there's problems coming out of the Vatican. Well, you would expect liberals to come out of the woodwork blasting him. No, no, no. The critics of Father Altman for that statement came from conservative Catholic media. They called him imprudent. They said, now Francis is going to come in and shut down all the Latin masses because of things like that you say. Telling him to be more careful. He should shut his mouth because that's ridiculous and it's just going to make it worse for everybody. All of these things, all these critiques. And yet all of these people sit behind their keyboards. They never say anything remotely controversial. Because if you ask them, they'll tell you how reasonable and prudent they are. And you know what? That's nothing but lukewarm weakness. What these people are doing is they have one foot on each side of a fence. On one hand, they don't want to agree with all the heresies, blasphemies, and insults to our Lord Jesus coming out of the Vatican. They can't go along with that. But on the other hand, on the other side, they want to look reasonable and prudent and not conspiracy, tinfoil hat. Weirdo. No, I'm so virtuous. I'm so good. I'm so charitable. I would never say anything that might come across poorly on a hierarchy member because why? No, you guys, this is all crazy, crazy weakness, lukewarm, fence sitting legalism. Stop it. The great thing about priests like Father Altman and the other ones who are getting canceled is that they're willing to stand up for the faith. That's why they got canceled, because they actually stood up and said the truth. And that's what we need. Why? Because there's an ongoing war for the faith, for the future of the faith, for the salvation of souls. And that's what matters. I have people ask me a lot of times, who are these people behind you? Is that Martin Luther there? No, it's not Martin Luther. That's St. Thomas More. St. Thomas More, of course, was a lawyer. He was a servant of the state and King Henry VIII. And he had his head chopped off by Henry because he refused to go along with Henry's belief that he was going to become the head of the church in England after his annulment was directly denied by the Pope because he wanted to marry somebody else. St. Thomas More got his head chopped off to defend marriage in the church. Is anybody now willing to get their head chopped off? They're not even willing to even question what Francis is doing. What are you talking about? Of course we question it. We say all the time there's problems coming out of the Vatican. Then stop attacking those who actually are doing something about it, like Father Altman. He put a lot on the line out in defense of our Lord Jesus Christ, just like St. Thomas More did. So, my friends, please watch out for this. The reason I'm making this video is I want you to be aware of this. This is a common tactic among mainstream Catholic reporters, commentators, even in social media. What they're trying to do is have it both ways, with one leg on each side of the fence, to make themselves look virtuous and reasonable, and everybody else wacky and cuckoo because they're speaking the truth. Yes, speaking the truth in a way that may be displeasing to a bishop, but that's okay because the church has always taught us, Pope St. Pius X has always taught us to be careful for this. They warned us of this. There's going to be heretics, there's going to be modernists, they're going to come as wolves in sheep's clothing. They're going to try to trick you into rejecting Christ in a convincing way. Now, this does not mean in any way, shape, or form you're rejecting the church. On the contrary, you're defending it. So don't listen to these legalists, and they're not very good legalists anyway, but don't listen to them as they try to talk you into the idea that somehow, if we don't call Father Altman imprudent and uh, perhaps he should be more charitable towards these evil heretic blasphemers in Vatican. No, don't listen to any of that. The truth is the truth. The church is the church. Watch out for this emotional manipulation to cower you into shutting your mouth. My friends, if this video is helpful to you, if you think it'll be helpful to others, like it, please share it, and subscribe to the channel. Unless we start spreading this message to stop being cowards and lukewarm and fence-sitting legalists, nothing's ever going to change. That's how we got to this point in the crisis of the church today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.